Friday. It's the weekend almost.
Yeah, it is, basically. That's the start.
Quasar scanning quants and quixotic questioners. Quench your thirst for the top of quality as we quest through the latest that we have to bring you in the world of tech, AI, and all the cool stuff in between. This is Geekoid episode 55, believe it or not. And your hosts, myself, Erik Wesslen, and my bestie, Jarrad Shaw. You know, we're going to open this one on a bit of a sour note, and that's the price of the things that we like is going up, unfortunately. And PlayStation, all your gaming habits are going to get more expensive. This is hot off the presses. PlayStation just announced that starting on April 2nd, just so nobody thinks it'll be an April Fool's joke, they're going to be jacking up the prices of the world's most favoritist console. So the PlayStation 5 in the United States will start at $650. The PS5 Digital Edition will be $600, and the PS5 Pro will be $900. I think this is the first time in history where the price of consoles has gone up over time.
Twice, because remember, they did a $50 increase in March, and this is a $100 increase on top of that. And that was the same time Xbox also did their increase. PS5 Pro is now getting into PC territory as far as pricing. And that's before
it's competing.
Tariffs and then AI and everything else.
It's competing with the Steam machine, and I don't think anybody was planning on that.
Oh, I'm sure Valve is so happy right now. They're like, okay, cool. Great.
I mean, this is like, these prices are just the base, like the models, and then most people go out and buy a 2 terabyte SSD to plop in it as well, and that's doubled in price to $400. So
it's crazy, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, you're absolutely looking at not even entry level, but like a really solid mid-level PC cost at this point, which is staggering. So if you didn't get one already, well,
sorry. Or you have a week,
a few days
ish. A few days.
You will have a couple days from when this episode drops.
April 2nd. We're recording Friday. April 2nd is next Thursday.
Yes. So this will drop on Monday. So more than a couple days. So make sure you have your subscriptions and alerts turned on for when the Geekoid podcast drops, so you can be in the know of all these life-changing.
Smash that like and subscribe button.
But you know, Sony's not the only one. Nintendo.
Somebody's taking a different route.
Yes. Why don't you tell us what that route is?
Nintendo is revising their. First. Okay. All right. We'll go with that one. So, Nintendo is increasing cost of Switch 2 exclusive games. They're leaving third parties to do whatever they want to with MSRP, but whatever they want to. They're increasing the cost of Switch 2 exclusive games, not the digital copies. This follows suit with what's already happened around the world, Europe especially, where there's already been a difference between digital and physical. It's just the US is now being caught up to it. It'll be roughly a $10 increase. However, there's speculation that you could see even a $20 difference, an $80 game and $60 digital. Nintendo issued a statement that its higher price point for physical games simply reflects the different costs associated with producing and distributing box games, which absolutely.
Not wrong.
Yeah. You are trying to do even a simple little disc, which is really easy to mass produce, or something that has been Nintendo's forte for a long time, cartridge base, which works for their hybrid system. That takes a lot of money, and then shipping, and then getting it out to the world.
Tariffs aren't a thing right now. This week,
but they were. But hardware prices, those chips that are in the cartridges do now cost more money than, say, burning a disc.
Everything costs more money.
Everything costs more money. Previously released games will remain at their current prices. Mario Kart World is still $80 unless you somehow can still get a bundle, and then it's $50. But that's kind of that same idea that we're talking about. So Yoshi, the Mysterious Island, and something else, which are coming out relatively soon, they'll be the first to get this price increase. I think Yoshi's going to be $10 more than it originally was, 60 to now 70, but the digital will stay at 60. And this all begins in May. What's interesting, and the reason why I say a different route, is Nintendo seems to be doing everything they can to not increase the price of their console. They increased earlier last year controllers and amiibo and everything else, but they're trying to keep that $500 or $50, whatever, depending on what you buy, mark for their console. And it seems to be for US another way to try to mitigate that before the end is nigh, which we keep talking about every episode.
Yeah. So I think the reason they're keeping the console price the same, even though they have to be feeling a ton of pressure from their RAM suppliers, is holiday sales were lower than expected, down considerably, and their forecasts are down considerably.
I have an
You have
argument
some thoughts?
Yeah, I do. So if you really look at it,
Thank God, because this is a podcast. That's our job.
So so it came out within the summer before that Christmas, and this was I think one of the very first times ever that they had more supply than demand. So currently, even now, which I know you're about to get into, they have enough systems. So I don't think the drop in sales from Christmas, and there's nothing to compare it to. If you're comparing, then you were comparing Switch 1. Well, Switch 1 came out earlier, and so then had a much larger Christmas boom. Also, Switch 1 is kind of its own unique little unicorn. Switch 2 is, a 2.0 of the Switch 1. So yeah, they had lesser sales, but I don't think Nintendo, with this huge, it's the fastest console sales that they've had in a long time, surpassing any of their projections repeatedly. You can say about the Christmas thing, but I would make it kind of a null and void statement at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they just blew their original sales projections out of the water when they first launched, and they ramped up production. And I think maybe they just were a little too over optimistic about what the holiday season would bring, and that happens. But
they're still
I think
killing.
Nintendo.
I think that's still at 45% over Switch 1 sales currently.
Yeah,
and Switch 1
they're not hurting for money.
Really good. No, they're not at all.
So yeah, I'm not too worried about it. You're not too worried about it. Investors aren't too worried about it. Nintendo's going to keep killing it. And what's right around the corner is the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Well, first, before we go to that, I do want to say, so they are revising the production output of Switch 2 units from 6 million units to 4 million in U.S. markets specifically. And it is only this quarter. So Japan, EU is a whole different sort. And part of that is pricing, and manufacturing is getting crazy. But the other part that I already said is they already have a bunch in the warehouses. So they are minimizing their production because they already made more than they ever have of other units before. So a lot of people are talking about this and going, oh no, oh, Christmas, and then this drop. Don't worry. And even if, what Erik just said, even if this is, and also, by the way, Nintendo has directly talked to IGN and other people. Bloomberg is who reported this, and they deny it. But even if it's true, is it a big deal? No. From everything that Erik and I just said, still fastest console sales and breaking all of their projection numbers. This thing is doing really well in a really hard U.S. economic state.
I mean, if you haven't noticed, the price of everything just keeps going up. And I haven't heard of people making more money. I've only heard of people getting laid off.
Same.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that plays out in the next few months.
Good note for Nintendo is they added a new update. And this is like an update I kind of wish would have been on the Switch 2 from the get-go. However, we're only 6 months, so this is still like a very cool pass.
It's still early days for the Switch 2.
Yeah, and so this update is so cool, man. This is a handheld mode boost, making Switch 1 games in handheld mode look, act, feel like they are in docked mode on your TV on a Switch 2. So this ups the OG 720p from Switch 1 games and the old Switch 1 to 1080p, fitting that bigger 8-inch panel, with even some games getting better FPS by double, 30 to 60. So I'm really excited. This is not an easy thing to find. I meant to put it in the notes to how to look it up, because it took me about 2 minutes to find it. Yeah, it's a little buried. And you do have to turn it on. You update to the latest update. I don't remember, but you have to turn it on.
Really? It's not on by default?
Nope. Huh. Awesome Nintendo, I guess. So I watched some folks online play Metroid Prime Remastered and Odyssey. I own all those. Mario or Luigi's Mansion 3. And what a difference playing handheld compared to what I saw and played handheld with those games. So I'm very excited. And everybody knows I'm still trying to finish Metroid Prime 1 Remastered. Blah, blah, blah. So very pretty. Very pretty and very cool.
Yes. All right. Where we want to go from here?
Movies.
I did tease the Nintendo movie, which is April. Wait.
Yeah.
Is it this week?
No Fool's Day. No, it's next. It's next Wednesday. April 1st, baby. No Fool's Day. That's what I'm calling it.
This coming week.
Yeah, next week. We're still on Friday, Erik.
This week being this coming week, because this week is
there you
pretty
go.
much over.
You needed the coming part.
Man.
Skeet.
So yeah, that's going to do really well. I'm excited for it. I probably won't be able to go see it in theaters, so I'm going to have to wait a minute.
There's a surprise. Keep reading. Just read whatever I put in there.
Announced that Star Fox's Fox McCloud will be in the movie. I did see that. I just didn't know that's where you wanted me to go with this.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'm a fan of Star Fox. The number of times that I use the phrase "do a barrel roll" in my day-to-day, it's pretty up there. It's probably it's like almost my catchphrase at this point. And especially having a child, another one, it's amazing when they do a barrel roll. Whether they do it intentionally or not.
I can't walk or crawl, but baby, look at me roll. Hey, it's a big deal when they do roll. That is a big deal. That's better sleeping.
So I was.
Yep.
I was gonna say maybe I should be more excited for this cameo, because maybe it means that they're going to start exploring the Star Fox universe and have a different spin-off movie, and maybe we'll get another Star Fox game at some point, because it's been a hot minute since that IP.
There he goes, folks. He nailed it. He figured out where I was going with
Erik
this.
Put 1 and 1 together, and he got 2.
Yeah, Nintendo, especially Miyamoto-san, he does not like crossing universes, except for Pikmin. He has this very weird thing about Pikmin. And even at the theme parks, there are Pikmin sprinkled everywhere, even in the stores, in the restaurants. It's Toad's kitchen, and yet there's little Pikmin, whatever. He is not a fan of crossing the streams, Ghostbusters. But having Fox McCloud in Mario Galaxy, like, I get it. It's space. Okay, sure. But you're crossing streams, so what's the implications? What are the possible implications? And I agree with you. The last Star Fox was 2016. I think it was Wii U. It was very underrated. Not underrated. It was very not good. Not underrated.
It was just very under.
It was very under. Well, and there's a lot of IP that they have that they're trying to recycle. They're trying to level up. This could give them another IP to throw out for the Switch 2 while people are waiting for Zelda, which, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, the movie is the next Mario 3D game, okay? That's the next 3D thing. Zelda in 2027 is going to be your next 3D Zelda thing. So in the meantime, before those games come out, there could be a Star Fox, which would be interesting. Or what I was thinking, Eric, is they could move this to Smash or Smash Ultimate. And now it's a battle royale for the third movie.
Okay. I mean, they're going to be tight-lipped with it, but you can obviously see that there's a lot of directions with where they could go.
There's a lot of potential. Yeah. A lot of fun factor.
There's a lot of fun to be had.
I did, thanks to my lovely, beautiful wife, who I love so much. We have tickets. The whole Meltzer clan and all of our nerdiness is going AMC, which also not doing very good right now. So we're going to throw some money at AMC's way and take over 9 seats and watch Mario Galaxy. It was Wednesday the 1st, so we're going to go Saturday the 4th. And also, folks, I'm not a IP movie popcorn bucket person. I think they are really stupid. Really stupid.
But
this Yoshi popcorn bucket, he's sitting on the floor. He's got the little speckled egg in front of him, and the popcorn goes inside the egg. And when you open it up, it looks like it's cracked open. Yeah. That's actually why
I haven't seen this. I gotta look it up right now.
That's why we're going to AMC, because this thing is the coolest, cutest, large figurine. Because they're all like 10 to 12 inches tall. So it's a legit Yoshi that's going to sit in my
you should all buy one, because they're going for about $100 on eBay a piece.
Yeah. They're all limited quantities. Yeah. Yeah, we're all buying
that is
one,
cool.
if not 2. Yeah. And I think there's other popcorn buckets, but nobody cares. It's the Yoshi with the egg.
I mean, it doesn't look like it holds a lot of popcorn, though.
I don't care. So
no, that'll be cool.
We'll be able to give everybody insights if we do one next Sunday. Then, I'll be able to tell you how cool it is, because it will be.
Yeah.
Even if it's bad, I'm going to tell you it's really cool and you should go see it.
But also, speaking of movies, Project Hail Mary just continues to crush it.
It's doing really good. I don't know what the box office is right now.
Well, we can look it up. I mean,
Oh, okay. I thought you were. I heard clicking and clacking.
Click. I'm surprised that my keyboard does not come through on the recording.
I can hear it now.
I know you can, but I know Riverside does a fantastic job.
Oh, background audio. Yeah.
So they cleared 80.5 in the first weekend.
Million?
Well, it certainly wasn't billion.
It's been something else. 1,000.
80.5 thousand cows.
Moo, mother.
That was just domestic. Internationally, it did 60 million.
Really good.
Really solid. I mean, 95% and 98% Rotten Tomato scores.
So how much did they spend? 200 mil? Plus. Minus advertising, which is another.
Yeah. I mean,
1 to 2 mil.
Recoup that in a heartbeat. And you know what? It just Ryan Gosling killing it.
Dude. Well, we said in the last episode, and he's just like, I don't know how he has a personal life or a family life because this dude, well, at least, a lot of these movies were a year or two shot ago.
Yeah, I
Bad
mean,
sense.
so here's the thing. He has this home run. He's got Star Wars Starfighter as his next movie,
He's got
which I
something
believe
else too.
has wrapped filming. And he's now teamed up with the Daniels, as they are known, to make probably the next major blockbuster. So if you don't know the Daniels, they're the ones behind Everything Everywhere All at Once, which came out in 2022 and won a whole bunch of Oscars. So to say they're teaming up with Ryan Gosling, that's already a recipe for success. So we'll see where they take it. I'm pumped because it's probably gonna have an element to sci-fi because that seems to be the flavor of the week, month, and year, and I'm here for it.
I know. I say it all the time. Cool action sci-fi movies are my jam. And then if you can sprinkle in a little side note of like a explorer element, Uncharted, Indiana Jones, National Treasure, I kind of dig that too. Blend the two together. Oh, baby, I would be very excited.
Is that it? Oh, no.
No. Has anyone heard of Stephen Colbert?
Who?
Strike Force.
Has anybody heard of Lord of the Rings? Let's start with that.
Oh, has anybody heard of Lord of the Rings? I'm assuming everybody's heard of Lord of the Rings, but Stephen Colbert, late night talk show host, super famous, unfortunately, due
Got
to
canned.
economic and political things, is being dismissed, is a nice word to say it, in late May. He is, bar none, a Lord of the Rings scholar. He has been quoted, he has been filmed on television and whatever. This dude knows Lord of the Rings better than Peter Jackson does. And I think only people who have passed away, like Tolkien, the author, would know more than him. And maybe
even that's
Tolkien's
questionable.
son. Yeah. For the last 2-ish years, his son, who I couldn't find his son's name, so I apologize, everybody. But he is also in Hollywood.
Tolkien.
It's not Tolkien. Get out of here, Eric. Goo, goo, goo. They've been working on a script. It was kind of playfully, put together. But with things that are going on in Colbert's life and, son wanting to help dad, he brought it up to Peter Jackson. And Peter Jackson went, this is legit. The story follows from the Fellowship book, chapters 3-8. Peter Jackson, for whatever reason, chose to skip those 6 chapters. A very famous, popular character that everybody loves is Tom Bombadil, and he's in those chapters specifically. So he showed it to Peter, and over the last whatever time frame that I don't know about, Peter's been now working with Colbert and Colbert's son, and then he pulled the old screenwriters who did the original 3, and they've been working on it with Colbert and Colbert's son and Peter Jackson. They brought it to WB, and WB went, this is awesome. And so...
Well, let's just take a second. You have Peter Jackson coming with another Lord of the Rings movie. I'm pretty sure it didn't take a lot of selling to Warner Brothers to greenlight it, because, that just prints money. But I'm sure the added quality of everything that you've said, that just, oh my gosh, they must have just been so eager to hand over all the monies to get this thing made.
Yeah, and the movie that Eric's talking about is Hunt for Gollum, which
Gollum. It's a fishes. Was it like a fish, Jarrad?
Not from you, weirdo. But this talks about that time while we're following Frodo and where's Gollum during this side note, and then we get little like flashes of him being captured by guards and bad guys and all this. This is a side note where Gandalf and a few people are also hunting Gollum during this little trek with the ring. So that's what that is. It's not a prequel. It's within the same story. It's just another story. Where's Gandalf? Where's Gollum? This is what was going on. And it was a short little brief thing that they're going to, expand and whatever. This also flows into that. This, though, the way that they're going to tell the story is kind of prequel-esque. It's going to be 14 years after Frodo has passed. Sam's daughter, who we see at the very end of the last movie, is grown. And so she's learning the story of the 5 armies and what happened during this time period. So it's cool. And Colbert, again, the scholar he is for Lord of the Rings, this sounds like it might be even more accurate to the books than any of the 6 movies put together. So also really cool, really neat. But like I said, all original writers, producers, artists, directors, like they're all in on this movie. Andy Serkis, side note, to Hunt for the Gollum, Andy is playing Gollum, duh. And then he's also directing that movie. So the old guard are more producers and advisors than what's going to be for this movie.
No, that's still super cool that he's going to be directing. I read all this stuff before and I did not realize that. So I love that Andy Serkis is just like gone all the way and is directing now, and he's done a phenomenal job. I'm excited to see everything he produces and directs for the next few decades.
I think he directed the last 8 movie.
Oh, yeah.
If not, he co-directed the last.
Yeah.
With Caesar.
Which I still haven't seen yet.
Or not the last one, because the last one was his son. But the one before that, one of those, I think he co-directed. I don't remember if it was the one he was in or after. But which got also really good reviews and did pretty well at the box office. So yeah, Lord of the Rings and Stephen Colbert. I think it's the coolest. It's like the ultimate passion project. And when you are that in with Hollywood and you have as much clout and money.
When nerds unite.
And yeah, but this is like nobility nerds. That's what I'm saying. There's, you've got your low class, your middle class, upper class, and then I'm going to call it your nobility is quote unquote your nerd class of we have money and we have connections and holy God, let's do something crazy. This is definitely one of them. It's neat. Yeah. It's really 100%. Cool, dude.
Well, I think we need to take a left turn.
Oh, sad panda.
Yeah, there's gonna go high, low. I mean, we gotta. It's a lot about the
peaks and valleys, baby. Peaks and valleys.
Exactly. Ubisoft continues their layoff spree. I mean, this is not even newsworthy because I didn't even notice. It's like, another week they laid off more people. Whatever.
I know. It was enough. I didn't even put numbers. I was like, it's another like 40 to 100. It's like every month. I would say on average they've been doing like 40 to 50 layoffs every month.
Yeah, but one thing out of Ubisoft that I did want to note, it sounds like the next Assassin's Creed game is going to take place in ancient Rome, which is a period that is near and dear to my heart, having been to Rome a number of times and studied abroad there. And I wouldn't say
it's because of you, but I was like, I go overseas. It's fine, whatever, for vacation. It was you specifically that when I met Katie, Ireland and Scotland, and I was like, I want to go to Rome. I want to be in the massive markets that they had built that are so massive, and now it's just flat, whatever, because originally it was, big market
I mean,
fair.
That's the thing with Rome
and to see that kind of stuff. And the statues, I think there's more statues in Rome than other places of Italy.
Oh, yeah.
I think she wanted to go to Venice, and I was like, it's stinky, gross, that water. I was like, let's do Rome.
It's underwater half the time.
Yeah, it's continuing. to go underwater. It's the new Atlantis.
You'll have to bring your
Scuba
your
suit.
wading suit. Like, are you going fly fishing? No, I'm just going to dinner. Anyway, to get us back on track, more notable layoffs, though, are coming from Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite, which has just laid off about 1,000 employees, which is about 20% of their workforce. So they went from 5,000 down to 4,000. And really comes at a weird time. Well, they did this back in 2023. They're in a weird place because Fortnite is such a boom or bust type of game. It's a free game that really capitalizes on microtransactions and your season passes. And it's a game that's been around for a while, and it's what made Epic so successful, that and Unreal. But when you're in one of these cycles like we are now, where it's more bust and not boom, then you have to make drastic decisions and drastic cuts to ensure that you can stay alive as a company. And so people are saying, "Oh, Epic this, Epic that," but I'm like, these are the difficult business decisions that you have to make as a leader, and I don't think Tim Sweeney makes these kind of without a lot of thought. And I'm sure if he had the opportunity to hire back a bunch of these people, if Fortnite saw a huge new boom cycle after their partnership with Disney goes gangbusters, then I think they would do that. But they're in a weird transitionary state. And the problem is they're competing with Roblox, who is just chewing up all the hours spent by the younger population, and the older population is they're getting jobs. They're going off to university. Like, they don't have time to play Fortnite anymore. So those two things you could imagine would be slashing the number of hours spent and then also the number of dollars spent in Fortnite. So I think Epic Games, I keep confusing Epic and Unreal. They really need to find another leg to stand on and can't just rely on Fortnite, which I don't think that's what they've been doing. They've been looking for another kind of foundational pillar. I think once they sold Gears of War and they stopped making the Unreal Tournament games, I don't know. I don't know what the next thing is for them. We'll see.
Well, I know. So you brought up a good point. So back in 2023, they had similar. So they dropped about 16.8. So it was 830-ish employees. And it dropped it back down to that like 4,000, 4,200 mark. This is a pattern now. This is the second time that they've hit about 5,000 and they've lowered back down to 4. You hit upon something neat, which is Disney. And they have a lot of IPs. They have a lot of negotiating and contracts that they have with Disney. The one that I'm thinking of is they did one with Simpsons. They built this whole Simpsons area that was so interactive and engaging, but it was only for a month. And so they had this contract, they got the money, Fox at that time, but now Disney, which is also funny because full circle, got a little bit of their cut, but then it was gone. Side note, why not keep some of this IP that you're doing for maybe, a month longer or for a quarter? You brought up a second point too, is that Fortnite's now been around. I didn't think about this. Fortnite's now been around that the people who first were playing this game are now graduating high school. They're graduating college. This goes into if Epic thinks of this, which hopefully it would be cool if somebody from Epic is listening to me right now. Look at what Blizzard, Activision, King, whatever they're called now, but look at what Blizzard's doing with WoW. They're taking that idea of not only how are they graduating college, but if WoW's been around so long that they've got like 4 kids. The kids are now grown. How can we get them in? How can we have this family dynamic? And even the future, we're hitting 40s, 50s, 60s. what do we do for those people who are slowing down in their professional career or retiring soon-ish future? Epic, this is interestingly the same idea, same premise. Gosh, it's so weird to say about Fortnite. But it's similar, right? It's been gangbusters forever-ish. Not as long as WoW, but like it's been doing really well. It's one of the most successful things Epic has ever done other than Unreal. Whoa. So whatever. They've also slowed down on some of their like live concerts and whatever because you need probably 500 more people to work with Daft Punk or Eminem or, Snoop or whoever to do that. However, I say however, constantly, folks, just get over it. With Disney and that boom, Eric's right too. You're going to see an increase in employees. And what I think they faltered on with the Simpsons idea, where they built this whole playground and then it was gone. Disney could be a little bit more longer term as far as going to this island or this section of Fortnite and this cool playground. As we always say, TBD, they seem to fluctuate between that 4 and that 5,000. This will be really neat to watch how these contracts with these other companies with their IPs and how it grows Epic to employ more people and to have good, secure jobs.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be interesting to see how Epic evolves over the next 2 years, especially as next generation of consoles is apparently right around the corner. And that also means Unreal Engine 6 is coming, which they've started teasing. And,
everybody's just now figuring out how to use Unreal 5.
Just seriously.
God, I'm so sorry.
It's crazy to think about Fortnite, which started with Unreal Engine 4, which is now migrated to 5, which will eventually migrate to 6. And those were all massive, it was a massive undertaking in its own right. But it does put them in a really good position where they can battle test the next generation of the engine using their own in-house kind of games that do see millions of players on a daily
I think
basis.
it's a dust statement, but it's a dust statement that a lot of people don't think about is you build a software that I wouldn't say 90, but like 85% of all studios use.
No, so reel that back. 85%? No, they didn't even have 50%.
Really? I thought it was way more. I mean, I know CD Projekt Red has their own. Capcom has their
CD
own.
Projekt is using Unreal for the next Witcher game.
Oh, that's right. They're switching from their. Not Cold Fusion. That's somebody else. I have so many weird engines in my head.
I was going to say Frostbite, but no, that's Battlefield.
That's Battlefield. But it's still a huge number. Like, if you're not making your own in-house.
But there's a decent amount that are. So, I mean, you look at Activision Blizzard, which is responsible for a huge amount of the games published. Everything coming out of China, like all those, none of that is built on Unreal. And then you have Epic Games, and then there's also Rise of Godot, which is a open source game development engine.
Be interesting then. From here on out, any games we talk about, we look at like what engine they're using.
Yeah, you can definitely make sense to do
that. By the end of the year, we're in late February, just end of the year. Well, what was the number? Community, you can help us.
Yeah. I mean, Ubisoft too. They have all their own engines. I'm pretty sure.
So that'd be cool.
How's that working out for them?
Yeah, I don't know. I understand Epic. I understand. I don't understand Ubi's layoffs. I know they're trying to get under a certain level because they're also, in debt. But they're taking, well, okay, let's work for Ubi. And every month, 50 people are going to leave. I don't like 1,000 people being laid off. However, oh man, like, are you the next on the chopping
here's the
block
thing.
for Ubisoft? Like, that's what the scary part is. And then what is your production to the next game? So then the next game isn't that great.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why.
It triggers the sympathetic nervous system, the whole fight or flight human process in the back of your mind. And like, you got to imagine so many people at Ubisoft are just looking for jobs. Like, what is the next thing for when the next round of layoffs happen next week? And what you've seen from the layoffs at a couple of weeks ago at Atlassian, my former employer, and then you look at what's happening at Epic. It's like these layoffs. It has nothing to do with your performance as an individual, as an employee. It's purely the business making decisions based on where they can save money and how to improve profitability and optimize kind of production, yada 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 yada. So, like, you got to be looking out for yourself and your family. And
I would say even more so right now. Like, again, we've talked about the hardware. That's a huge hit, folks. Like, these people are doing software, but it takes that hardware in that same company, maybe not Epic or whatever, but the people who then you're going to try to get a margin off of: Sony, Nintendo, Xbox, Steam, Valve. Like, that's all taking a hit on them, and it's going to trickle down. It's rough, and I would say this is the roughest time for any game developers, anyone who has spent their career and have glorious resumes that Erik and I would just drool over. Like, I wish. This is rough, man. Not doggy dog, but like, hey, you're taking a job, but always in the back of your head, just apply to one a week while you're developing something.
yeah, but 1 week doesn't cut it anymore. I've been there, and the job market is just getting more and more brutal. So,
well, there's more people, so now you got more competition, and
there's
then
more people, and people say there's more jobs. With AI, you can apply for 10 times as many jobs, which means there's 10 times as many more applications being submitted. And
on the flip side, also some of those jobs are being replaced by AI.
Yeah.
So then, whoops. Thanks, humankind.
How about we switch to something a little more upbeat?
I mean, that was our valley.
Hopefully the audience stuck around for us to climb the hill to Apple enlightenment, because we finally have some dates for the 37th Worldwide Developer Conference, and that's going to be held June 8th to Friday, June 12th.
37, by the way. Can we just stop and pause? They've been doing this for 37 years. That's crazy,
well, let's
dude.
Stop and pause.
I'm 46.
The 50th anniversary for Apple is next week on the 2nd.
They've got to announce. I agree with you. They've got to. But then June's right there. So then you celebrate 50 during the 37th?
Here's the thing. Apple could easily make 50 an entire year-round celebration, like for an entire year.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
Maybe. I don't think they're going to put all their chips into quote unquote 50, because the way the technology cycle is evolving so rapidly, I think they need to keep their eye on the ball and just double down on shipping great products and great user experiences and not get too distracted with nostalgia. Because if you do that, you're going to, I don't know, someone's going to steal your lunch.
Well, I mean, okay, I agree with what I said and what you said, because I think they're going to release... Let me really tell you. I think you're right in that keep your eyes on the road and keep going. And this might be the biggest year for Apple product-wise because they are on a huge push to update their entire line from A17, I think, is their lowest chip now that they're going to keep at, and that's a Pro, to then the M5 Ultra. Well, and announcing the M6 at the end of the year. So this is their big push to not only be on that road, but then put the gas on the pedal next year.
Yeah, I think
Gas on the
Apple's
pedal?
already
Pedal on the
having
gas? What am I saying? Go fast, Apple. Go fast.
so fast. So Apple's already had an incredible start to the year
Incredible.
between all the new chips in the MacBooks and the Neo and the M5 Airs and whatnot. And, it's only going to get stronger with the new Mac Minis, the Mac Studios, and then
Even the iMac. Slap an M5? Like, everybody is still...
I forgot about the iMac, to be completely honest.
People are still testing the M5 from... And that was, whatever, October, November, December. Like, the M5. People are still just blown away by the base M5.
Yeah.
Over the M4. That was a first. Usually it's like 10%, and at 20 to 30% just has people like tweaking in their jeans.
Tweaking in their jeans.
You're welcome. You can copyright that. That's fine.
So, yeah, I mean, we're going to see... we know they're going to have an incredibly strong product lineup through the end of the year. And I don't think anything that AI does is going to hurt them. I think that the one wild card we have yet to see is the new version of Siri that is set to come at WWDC.
Yeah.
So everybody's waiting with bated breath to see what they bring. One rumor that we've heard is that you'll be able to use any model that you want, that you could use OpenAI's ChatGPT as a backing end, or you could use Google Gemini, which Apple's already teamed up with Gemini, or maybe you can use Anthropic. I don't know what that looks like. Does that mean we're going to have a bring your own subscription to BYOS for Siri, or is there going to be different levels and different tiers? This is a brand new territory. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, Jarrad.
I just saw something. There was a sponsorship on a YouTube channel. I always forget. Sorry, folks, because
there's a sponsorship on a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I watched so many, but the sponsorship was choose your own chat, pay us monthly, and you get to pick from like whatever 5 to 10. I don't know because there's so many.
Oh, is this for Galaxy AI?
It was chatllm.com.
Oh, okay.
So, but probably similar to Galaxy, who I also know nothing about. But that's
just another AI service that I have a subscription to that allows you to access all of them.
So maybe, or it goes along with browsing and plugins that we had in Chrome for years, and then Apple finally released it like 2-3 years ago, and it's more gangbusters than Chrome, which always cracks me up. When Apple does something, everybody goes, "Oh my God, that's great!" And it's like Chrome, Google, we've been doing it for 5 years. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, we'll see. They've certainly had a minute to take a look at themselves, figure out what worked and what didn't work, mostly what didn't work, and come out with some new intelligence to put into that good old Apple.
I'm curious. I'm the weird nerd who's not software integrated, but during WWDC, you also have the chance to look at separate individual API talks. And gaming, I'm always a big one on that because Macs are not the best. They're getting a lot better with these M chips. And the API developer talks are really good. So come, Monday, June 8th to Friday, June 12th. So in like less than a month, kind of ish. Those are really cool to do a Google search, Google, do a Google search in YouTube or whatever, and watch those. I was watching those back in 2019, and the developer tools that they were releasing then for gaming, metal effects, were mind blowing. And maybe it's not an easy code to work with because I think it's Swift or it's a Swift-ish product, which a lot of people don't use that code. They're using other code for their games. But it was already really pretty decent in 2019. It's just the adoption.
Yeah. So
Be fun. I can't wait.
yeah. Do we want to talk about
Products?
like Apple products?
Allegedly, which these are getting pretty, like I've watched 5 different people, and this is pretty much what we're going to see for in June.
Please tell me.
Well, if
Tell me,
I
Jarrad, tell
must.
me.
So we talked about the iMac. It's not like one we talk about very often. I think it's very underrated, and it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be underrated anymore because the iMac is getting the M5 chip, and that already has like. If you're looking at like the Studio, which is crazy, 5K, whatever, blah, blah, or the XDR Studio Pro, blah, blah, whatever they call it, Switch 2 Edition, Switch 2 Edition Plus, the iMac is the coolest computer, like mouse, keyboard, monitor, camera, speakers, Thunderbolt. It's a really good computer. I think it's 24 inches instead of 20. The standard's 27. Everybody likes 32. Most people are going back down to 27, which was also Apple. Going back down to 27. 27 seems to be the sweet spot. But the iMac is nothing to joke about with an M5 chip. I don't think it's getting the M5 Pro, so they're leaving it at that more consumer level. But do not look this over if you just need something. Also, crazy. Marquez, back in the day, used to carry an old like iMac Pro when they did the iMac Pro, and he would carry the whole screen because it was everything, and he would carry that to like California and Canada and whatever to then, after he filmed a conference or whatever, to then come back. That's how cool the iMac used to be. I think, but I'm saying with this
terribly impractical.
it was. The videos are crazy. It was like this huge Pelican case. It was gigantic. You don't have to do that with, MacBook Pros at this point anymore. But the iMac kind of brings that back with the M5 chip. Folks, I cannot tell you how powerful this M5, even at a base level, is compared to even, the 4 is whatever, but like compared to the 1, it's night and day. With that, we're getting the Mac Mini, same price point, like super cheap, $500-$600. It'll have the M5 in the M5 Pro. People are doing like local LLMs, local LMs. How do you say that? Not large language, but it's a local LM.
Well, I think you're going to be running your LLM locally.
Locally
is what it is.
So this little puck that fits, in a large pocket, but in a pocket is crazy, dude. This thing is still the hardest thing to buy right now. I just went on Apple like a couple hours ago, and like I think it was like 2 months if I chose to buy one for it to come to me. Like there's that supply and demand we talked about with Nintendo. Apple just killed it with the Mini. It's the most powerful little cute little silver brick that you put wherever. To the point that you just unplug it and you take it with you and plug it to something else, and there's your Mac with all of with new SSDs, double the speed. Mac Mini is going to be nuts, man.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a long time, and I didn't even realize I skipped last generation's Apple TV 4K, but they're gonna
What?
have a. I did. We talked about this was maybe a year ago, one of the first episodes, but I skipped. I think I bought it right before the next gen came out, so I was all psyched. So I'm missing a ton of features. This new Apple TV 4K uh, will have the A17 Pro chip, which sounds like the lowest grade of everything everybody else is getting. I mean, I think the base iPad is going to get the A18, but the A17 Pro chip is their first 3 nanometer architecture. It will also have a bumped up to 8 gigs of RAM, and it was the first to get ray tracing. I wish they would have put the A18 Pro. It's fine. But my point is that this was the first time you could see light effects and dust and all these cool gaming features that were previously not there. And then DLSS came around. So this is going to give you something that is going to be a pretty cool gaming system attached to your TV that can then also do Netflix for gaming and all your movies and your TVs and your streaming. So this is super cool. It will also have the new upgraded N1 chip, which will have Wi-Fi 7, which works flawlessly with all the other Wi-Fis before that, Bluetooth 6, and then Thread support if you're working on a more integrated home system. So this will work a lot quicker, way more smoothly between all those systems and light bulbs and coffee makers and whatever.
Beep, 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 beep.
I mean, I have a a water kettle that I can set up to Thread, but I don't have Thread. So I can set it and be like, "Hey, I need you to boil water while I'm taking a shower." So when I get out of the shower, it's ready and coffee or tea, baby. What do you want? So I mean, that's cool. That's some dumb shit, but like that's cool. Two other things. HomePod Mini. There is a rumor of the OG HomePod. It seems to cost Apple a really large amount of money to upgrade the HomePod, which is why it takes them forever to do it. So there's rumors there's a HomePod. I speculate if they're going to update it. Last one was 3 years ago. It might be closer to fall with future home hub stuff, but HomePod Mini or HomePod Mini 2 will get upgraded, and it's a pretty much a complete revamp. Revamped acoustics, internals. They're updating. They had the S5 originally. They're updating to S9. There's still a few rumors that say maybe it's S11, but I don't think so. I think it'll be S9 chip. That was the first 4 nanometer architecture for that chip design. This is also the first time it adds a neural engine to it, so then it works with the supposed AIs and home features that Apple's getting everything up to par with. It'll have a second gen ultra band chip for better handoff and then just better interaction with the rest of your components, Philips and Govee and kind of stuff, and voice. So no N1 though, which was interesting. No N1 to this, and I think because they're relying on the Apple TV to be your hub. So they still have, I think, maybe a contract with a third party. I don't remember who the third party is. So it still should be better sound. Now, if this is my spec, because I want a new HomePod, I've got 3. Do I have 4? No, I have 3. I have 3 HomePods. I have an old one, and then I had to upgrade to 2 new ones to get the Dolby, because they didn't. Old one and new one did not want to talk to each other. So that was fun. That was like $400. I wonder if some of the new tech, if you could now use a HomePod mini, say, on your desk, and it now be Dolby
Dolgy.
Dolby Digital Dolby. I put the two together. It's Dolby, baby. Just don't worry about it.
It's Dolgy.
But that would be neat if they finally figured out the tech and the acoustics to make HomePod minis Dolby Atmos. That would be cool. I would love that. That would be some next level. I only have one mini. It's upstairs in our gaming room. But have two and then do Lord of the Rings soundtrack and then it flow between left and right of my huge board game and video game room. Nerd. That would be super neat.
That would be impressive.
Last thing. This is a valley. Is it? No.
Why would you say this is a valley?
This is my personal take. Apple is officially discontinuing the Mac Pro. Aw, sad panda. I'm not sad. It costs a shit ton of money. And yeah, it was neat that you could like upgrade and change things out like a PC. But also, it was pretty segmented to you had to buy very specific pieces for it to fit. Well, we have the Mac Studio.
Yeah.
And Erik.
So I will just
M5
talk about
chips. Yeah, it's your turn, baby.
Yeah. So the Mac Pro, if you've been following the trends, I don't think the discontinuation of the Mac Pro is going to be news at all. It was going to always go the way of the dodo. So the original Mac Pro was created because Apple Silicon originally could not keep up with the demands of some of the higher end computing requirements of top video editors, top research scientists. And so you would need these massive GPUs, typically, I think, from AMD in the last generation of the Mac Pro. They usually plop in there 2 or 3 of them, and that's how you would get all that extra processing power. But now with the Mac Studios and the way that they're able to just outcompete, really, at a lot of levels, the dedicated GPUs from NVIDIA and AMD, really, there's no reason for a Mac Pro anymore. Everything that you would need a Mac Pro to do, a Mac Studio can do, especially now that we're going to be seeing the M5 Ultra come this summer in the Mac Studio. And that is going to be one hell of a workhorse. And I'm just giddy just thinking about it. So, I mean, we're looking at allegedly 80 GPU cores with built-in AI accelerators, 36 CPU cores, and maybe the super cores doubling their performance from the previous Ultra chips. So I wouldn't be surprised if you benchmark the new Mac Studio against the previous gen and see something as ridiculous like a 3x increase. Not 15, 20, 30%, 300%.
I don't remember. What was the last Mac Studio? Like
when did it come out?
Which Ultra did that have?
The M3.
Did it have the M3 or was it the M2? Because remember, Apple saw the writing on the wall with M3, and so half their products didn't have M3, and half of them did have M3.
So the last release of the Mac Studio was 387 days ago, and you could get the M4 Max or the M3 Ultra.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe 3x performance is a little too overhyped because we never even saw an M4 Ultra. I'm now realizing.
Oh yeah, you're right, dude. Yeah, they skipped the M4 and they're going to the M5.
What if they just skipped the M5 and went straight to the M6 and blew everybody's minds?
Would that be the biggest introduction? And then everybody would have to downsize their specs as they were analyzing and be like, well, if the M6 Ultra does this, then an M6 base does that. I would love, Apple would like turn a pyramid upside down on everybody's.
I don't think they're going to do that.
No, they're not. But that would be the coolest like drop mic moment. And also, we're introducing the 2 nanometer M6 with I still I don't remember how, because it's not a bridge architecture. It's now this more seamless architecture. So it's just more fast, more powerful, and more crazy of how everything is, all these chips are then seamed together to then one big ass mother.
It more good. You give us money? Yes. Okay, we have deal. That's how it's going to play out this summer.
I know people were like comparing against M2, and I don't know why they weren't comparing against M3, but you're right. This is like a 3x on M2 Ultra.
Yeah, it's
that's
going to be.
It's nuts, man. And so maybe if you did M2 to M3 and M4, maybe this is only at 10%. However, we're not getting M4. But with the M5 and the AI and the neural accelerators, and they're all built in, like, hey, baby, welcome to the new world.
Yeah. So, I mean, the summer can't come fast enough, is all I can say to that. Can I dig into our next topic, which kind of builds on this one?
Yeah, move on, baby.
All right. So, Google Research just announced a new finding, something called TurboQuant. So this is all going to make sense as soon as I get through the explanation.
It sounds like a paleontologist who just found something new. They're like, wow, look what I just found. And they're like, wow, that's neat.
It's a TurboQuant.
But yet we created it. And they're like, oh, neat.
No, it sounds like something you'd put in a DeLorean to go back a few more extra decades. So you attach the TurboQuant to the flux capacitor. But no, it's actually a real piece of technology, and it compresses the it's a compression algorithm that reduces large language model key value cache memory by at least 6 times and results into an 8x speed up, all with 0 accuracy loss.
So you can do this on a lower end computer and get similar results.
So that's what people are thinking. So the way people are thinking about this is that the limiting factor for most machines that people have at home is the unified memory. And that's where Apple's really been shining, is that they have the shared memory between the CPU and the GPU cores. Whereas most PC-based computers, you have either dedicated RAM for your CPU or you have VRAM for your GPU. And so that limits what you can effectively run in terms of the large language model size. And so this new finding is basically saying, hey, we figured out a way to reduce the size of the... So... Jared's laughing because my camera just shut off. Yeah, that battery dead. But we're just going to keep going. So it effectively increases increases the performance of the models that you're running already, or 2, which I find more exciting, allows you to run significantly larger models than what you were able to run previously. So
you would be that person.
Yes, of course.
You're like, dude, if I can afford an Ultra, and if my wife allows this with 2 children and our financial budget, I can double what I can do.
Exactly. I can make more memes, babe.
Basically, it's a HEVC. Oh God, what is it? For like video codec and JPEG for photo
for LLMs. So Apple, the 512 Mac Studio has been the closest consumer hardware able to run really the frontier models, or the open source frontier models, I should say. And with this improvement, I think you could have a fully fledged Mac Studio running the best open source models locally, which is just absolutely mind-blowing.
You're way above everybody else right now, like, because you're talking a Mac Studio with an Ultra, but
that's fair.
Erik and folks, a Mac Mini with even an M5 Pro. And if you look at right now, M4 with an M4 Pro, that cost value is not like grandiose. I was debating between a MacBook Air and a Mac Mini with an M4 Pro, and I chose M4 with MacBook Air. So even with this new idea, this new research from Google, folks, and we're still talking about the M5. This M5 is no joke. And an M5 Pro, Erik wants to do some crazy shit. Okay, he wants to
I'm the mad
experiment
scientist on the podcast.
until all of a sudden the computer runs his house, and he says
We're not that
no,
far
and
away.
it says no. I'm going to do this anyway because I've already
No,
seen.
Erik, we're going to
your-
shoot a horror film now.
Yeah, I already know your algorithm, Erik. Like, you get home at this time, it's coming on whether you like it or not. And it will be a tungsten value that we dictate because we've already seen, we've seen the kids running around. It's now getting lowered or raised. Like, no. Like, Ultra is... Everybody get a MacBook. Get a MacBook Mini. Get a Mac Mini. MacBook Mini. That would be funny. A little 8-inch. It's hard to now do this without seeing you. It is interesting. Now I'm rambling, and I'm like, I can't see Erik.
I'm just picturing a MacBook Mini, and I like the image that conjures to my head is
it's an
Austin
iPad
Powers just opening up using tweezers, the little lid.
Oh, that would be so cute. It would be an iPad Mini. I'm telling you right now. It's a 9-inch screen.
Yeah.
You're correct. I think it's overkill, bro. I don't what your dream is to your reality is it's commendable. Say that.
Thank you.
But for other people who have more money than us, yes, this is your network. This is your be all end all. Is a gold mine. And I threw it in the notes. And Erik, talk about this. How is this now a competitor? It's not a competition. NVIDIA is still going to do great. But how does this disrupt, even in a 10% way, to NVIDIA?
I don't, in the near term, it's hard to say, but I don't think it really disrupts much because the demand is still there. I mean, if anything, it'll help the data centers and the hyperscalers meet the demand. They'll be able to save money, but I mean, you're still going to need hardware. This all goes back to Jevons paradox, which says if you're able to lower the cost of consumption of a certain thing, whether it be electricity or water, you're going to end up using more of it. So even though we're lowering the cost or barrier to entry for using LLMs or AI, at the end of the day, we're just going to continue to use even more of it. And I think Apple or NVIDIA is still in a fantastic position to capitalize on that. And I think you'll see that in their stock price.
Oh, sorry. So my bad, folks, in for Erik. I was thinking still of the Mac Studio. Well, because you've talked about it. The Mac Studio Ultra. And I guess I was looking at, because you did blend software, hardware. And so I was thinking the hardware side of it. Should I apologize or not apologize?
When do we apologize on this podcast? Come on.
Well, I feel silly. So like we were talking about the Google research, but then you did go into a dreamy state of like a Mac Studio Ultra with this new Google research of the TurboQuest TurboQuant. Sounds like a video game also. It's like, oh, I can't wait to play TurboQuant. Oh yeah, me too. Can we play together? Sure.
I'm totally going to use that as a subtitle for the game I'm working on now. Or the secondary title.
It should be. And then just see what, Google says.
Geekoid TurboQuant.
Well, I mean, you know what? That's our next title for this. for this episode.
That's fine. We'll roll with it.
TurboQuant be damned. But my point, gosh, now I have to think and speak. Oh, sorry, folks, because I don't have my script. What would TurboQuant be like And this new compression of AI tokens or LLM on Apple's M series, but especially with this new M series Ultra, with this new bridging of their processors all built together compared to NVIDIA, who's been primarily PC with the 50 series, 60, 70, 80, 90s, whatever. People are saying this does compete, and numbers are showing it competes. I don't have those numbers. I didn't go that deep into
What competes with what? You're losing me.
NVIDIA's, especially the 5090 to then an Ultra.
So
and then with
the TurboQuant is going to
AI,
have a positive effect on both Apple hardware and NVIDIA hardware, and really any hardware. It really only it benefits the models themselves, and so every piece of hardware will become more capable in what it can run. So I don't think it really shifts the landscape too much. The only area I will say is
is that
when we
unified part?
is when we looked at the unified memory, because it is so high on the consumer devices for Apple. That is where you'll be able to unlock and run the largest open source models locally. And I do not think you will be able to do that still on your run of the mill 5090 from NVIDIA. I think I nailed it finally for Jarrad. Had to stick the landing on that one. So maybe to switch topics to something a little bit more consumer friendly and not so deep in the weeds of all the technical turbo bits. OpenAI has shut down their social experiment known as Sora. So they launched Sora 6-ish months ago, I think.
Yes.
And it was basically a way to remix yourself and your friends into funny video memes. And it sounds like they were burning $500 million a month or a week or something like that in compute costs and not making any money. And so they realized, we want to go public this year. We should probably show that we're being smart with our cash and not just lighting
wasn't
all
Sora
of it on
also
fire.
like you could just make up your own story and just put it out there? So also, I think there was a little debate and conflict of like what it was really starting to like pique people's interest of like what's real and what's not.
Well, the Sora's claim to fame, or infamy, if you will, was that you were able to use copyrighted IP. And so they had a partnership with Disney that saw Disney investing $1 billion into OpenAI, and you could recreate yourself as a Disney character or have yourself interacting with Disney characters. And that was really the main selling point. And there was a lot of confusion and fear. Is this the future of IP rights? And it seems like it was not successful. So we're going back to the drawing board when it comes to IP protection and what it means for copyright holders. But I think this is a win for artists, honestly, in the short term.
I do too. Yeah. We talk about DLSS 5 and, to choose to have it or not. And Sora was one of those options that it's not really a choose. It was, which is neat. It's, listen, I'll flip side this to my 14-year-old niece, who I love and absolutely adore. And for her to create something that is her own and she sees it automatically is like instant gratification. But it's also instant gratification where how much work did you put into it? And I guess you could flip side that to, well, the more creative you are and the more you think about it and the more you work on it, it could be even more creative. So there's still a creative element within this automatic AI generated content, but to then just pull Maleficent, who's one of her favorite characters, also mine. She's so cool. Or Pikachu, or some of the new Pokemon that she's now getting into thanks to my amazing brother, her dad. Like in cutting from Disney or any of the creators or Pokemon Company or Nintendo, like there needs to be a better in between. I like the idea of her being able to create something, but then it still needs to have a little bit of her own genuine creativity. I mean, Eric, you and I came from, me more, but drawing, sketching, coloring, and then you on the digital sphere, me later with like Photoshop and doing layers and whatnot. Us coming, with InSciL and some of our other friends. And you have the idea, you watch other videos, you learn from other individuals, and so you see it, you know it's in action, and then you have to apply it and then create your own like version, your own piece that is you. Um so I'm a huge I don't know if I'm a huge fan, but I'm a fan of this deal.
Yeah. So it's the first small step in a lot of steps to come. There's tons of pending lawsuits. It's going to take years for this to all get sorted out, and I honestly don't know how it's going to shake out.
It's interesting you say that. Well, we're because I don't have any notes on this, and Eric doesn't either. But the first social media addiction suit
Oh
uh
yes.
just got passed also this week. Um, six
By
million.
past, you mean they were found liable, Meta and
It
Facebook,
Meta and
Google.
M and Google, but it was very weird, even though the title and the court say YouTube, obviously we know it's Google, and then as you scroll through and read through it, different articles, yes, it's Google, but it's Meta primarily sounds like Facebook, and then Google primarily YouTube. That just, the scrolling, and unfortunately, there's been whistleblowers and other investigation that has led the courts to approve it, which I'm a fan of. But they found that even though, yes, it's on you and parental control and whatever, we're really talking about younger audiences. Um, the algorithms that were developed for these companies for their consumers knew that automatically. And then even some rule changes. So one of the rule changes, I haven't gotten back into YouTube because I don't like the idea. Well, I do, but I don't like the idea is you need to run through the entire video to then have that video then shared. I do agree with it to some extent. I did not realize until this recent court thing, that it wasn't that they wanted the content creators to be seen throughout their entire video and the entire creative work, which is what I thought. It was you're on YouTube longer, and so you're tapped in and you're not changing. And I went, oh, that's not as cool as my original creative thought. Like, yes, I would like somebody to watch my 6 to 20-minute video. And it was more like, no, we want you to not blink and watch this entire video, stay on our channel, and then move on to the next one. So, yeah. And already that one won. And so there's been now a flood of others. And EU and Australia/New Zealand have already implemented these things about a year or so, but we're already hearing rumblings that there's going to be even more talks on top of that, as far as parental and this algorithm and these tech companies. I don't know. I'll just say it, sucking the life out of you.
Yeah. So it'll crazy time to be alive. We don't know what's going to happen, but you know we'll we'll be here for you so we can walk you through everything that happens.
That's so sweet. I love that. Oh, Erik, I'll give you a hug.
So that rounds out yet another incredible episode of the Geekwood podcast. Like, subscribe, favorite, give us a 5-star rating. That would really, 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 really help us.
Put your comments in so that we also know, like,
give us feedback.
Give us, 1 to 3 pros and 1 to 3 cons so that we also know, like, what you like and what you don't like. We're just doing this.
We're just doing this.
I mean, aren't we? Like, we're just doing this. We have ideas we've pulled from, other creators, and then we've talked between ourselves to, do the best content and whatever. But let us know. And I really want to know. The negatives suck. Like, listen, folks, nobody wants to hear suck. So, like, yes, I want to grow. I want to be better. But I would really like to, also a little pat on the back or a little, like, encouragement. Like, what are things that you do like? Be it goofy, be it, detailed, whatever. Like, I would love to know that.
Yeah. So everybody likes a good attaboy.
Yeah.
Well, signing off this week for myself, Erik Wesslen, and I'm pointing at you, but you can't see me because the camera's turned off.
The other best friend, Jarrad.
Yes. Stay classy out there, and we'll see you next week.
Not just San Diego, but the world.
End of transmission.